Welcome to Seattle. Hopefully you have a cup of coffee because you're going to need energy for Flock 2025. I arrived around 1:30 on Saturday and I met up with a longtime friend and we were off. I wore my recently finished Rage sweater, which I will be talking about in a later video. When I say there was so much to see, I'm not lying. Oversaturation. I am glad that I went for 2 days. So what did I see? I will go over my favorite booths, favorite details of the day, and a lifetime achievement that was unlocked while I was there. Hello fellow nerds, this is John, a nerd that knits, and this is Flock Fiber Festival 2025. Are you ready? Let's go. At the onset of Flock, we ascended upon an escalator that took us to the second floor of the Seattle Convention Center, the Summit building. The layout had all the booths on the left side of the space, and on the far right was some food vendors, tables, chairs, and then a stage for interviews that they had throughout the event. Foreshadowing, I would go to one of these interviews with my favorite knitwear designer. Unique yarns and dyers. Yarn booths everywhere, local and far. These booths had color, plants, vibes, and all over just pure charisma. Here are some of my favorites while I was in the Sea of Knitters. Witch Fire Fibers. Love, love, love everything in the booth, but look at these yarn bouquets. The attention to detail are everything, and the yarn is gorgeous too. Manifest, Destruction, and Boundaries are beautiful colorways with creative names. This, I absolutely loved what they did here with how they just had the sheep's wool out, had their basket, they had some candles, they had some like fake greenery. This right here is just gorgeous, and how they set it up, and then they had their sign. So beautiful, beautiful detailing of what their kind of booth looked like. You're gonna see a lot of this if you ask me. There's a lot of really pretty booths. This one was just beautiful and how they set it up. Look, their yarns are just great too. But I mean, just look at that presentation. It's just so beautiful. I didn't even notice that. It's just the black wood paneling or like a box. And then here's just a couple of detailing of their prices. They had, looks like they had some music on at some point. Just to create a vibe, and look, it's just, I love that. That is so beautiful. I mean, if one of these days, if I ever have a yarn shop, there were so many amazingly detailed and glorious booths that I'm glad I'm sitting down with you guys and showing you, because it's just so beautiful. And dang, like I'm gonna have to do that in the background somewhere in my studio because I just love it so much. Rainier Roses. Y'all, this gal is a local color enthusiast, and did I say that she is a lover of color? I just wished I visited her booth more, but I will be looking at her website a little bit harder. Dare I say I need to go into the woods. Oh, here it is, Rainier Roses Yarn Company. So these were mini skein fades and gradients. So if you're like really more of a unicorn tail kind of person, or if you're like really interested in like the faded sweater or faded scarf kind of look, those were kind of fun. Hazel Knits. I first saw Hazel Knits in a yarn shop in Mount Vernon in Washington State. I have seen it in passing, but it is a little rare. They have a yarn of the month, but not a big inventory. If you run across them, buy them up. It's just great yarn, even though it is kind of harder to find. Is Hazel Knits? So Hazel Knits, I've used Hazel Knits yarn before and I absolutely love it. It feels great. The colors are amazing. They are, I swear they're like the best socks. And so their yarn is pretty nice. It is kind of hard to find, but granted it's because it's kind of like a more artisan sock company. They kind of don't do so many batches, but it was fun to see them there. Bigfoot yarns. Hands down, they have the best titles of yarn bases I have ever heard. Yeti, Phantom, Kraken, Fable, another Pacific Northwest indie dyer. These are beautiful yarns with names like Fairy Ring, Scarecrow, and Merfolk. Don't pass this guy up like I did. The yarn is as beautiful as the shop sign, and boy, I'm gonna be talking about that shop shine forever. This one was another great one. I don't know if I actually got to see their stuff, but just look at that. This is high up, obviously, so I could get a good picture of it. Here we are. We've got some more, you know, fake flowers, just kind of bringing in, tying it right here. This, like I said, you're gonna see the continuity of plants, and I just love that. It was just so fun to see, so refreshing, so fresh, so clean, if you know what I mean. And this one was just fun. I love the mushrooms. There was a lot of mushroom stuff. It was so cool. I was like, oh yay. Farmer's Daughter fibers. I bought Mighty Mo and Foxy Lady for a sweater I made about a year ago. Such a beautiful russet color. They do earth tones, like most beautiful browns. And for reference, I don't usually like browns, but their browns are like caramels that melt into a beautiful earthly palette. And they're soft too. Here's Farmer's Daughter, me taking a picture with Farmer's Daughter. I've talked about Farmer's Daughter before. They are located in Montana. I want to say they're located in Great Falls. I'm not entirely sure. I went into their particular yarn shop, I want to say back in, it was either 2020 or 2021. I just remember I definitely had to wear a mask going in, which for me was never an issue. Yeah, that was fun when I went years ago. It's like Sewrella. I feel like I'm about to sing a Disney song. If Disney and Sewrella were related, their parentage would be branding. Sewrella knows how to brand, and their online shop is so organized. Listen, Linda, I am a sucker for organization. I know I can't do it, but when others do it, I'm jealous, envious, and I love it. So beautiful, so put together. Another thing that hits the mark is that Sewrella knows we aren't all independently wealthy. And this is no shade to the other yarn dyers. Luxury has a price they do pay for, but I knit a lot, like it's my job. And I think Sewrella has my number because they have the home collection. These balls were $20 each, and they have about 112 yards. So we're getting about 11 yards of yarn per dollar. The home collection is an 80-20% superwash merino wool with a cashmere style nylon, and it is so soft. I bought the colorways Kettle and Heirloom. I'm excited to knit a sweater in this yarn to really showcase its versatility and luxury. Now, I was distracted by the home collection, so obviously they have other collections of yarn, and they also have patterns. We are going into is the Sewrella, and this company, this is out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I really loved all of their emblems, and so I tried to take as many pictures of their emblems as possible. Zoom in, you can see how it's set up. Cute little coffee cup. Now, I don't know much because I haven't been to too many bigger, oh, look at this one. This one's fun. It's like a little movie cinema. So because I haven't been to many fiber festivals, I really don't know how they work as well. I was asking the ladies in this particular booth. They were just friendly, very friendly. Like, they were answering my questions. Not to say that other people weren't friendly in answering questions. Most of the times you go up to booth and the people that were designing the yarn or had the yarn, they were already talking to other people. So it was just very, you know, you're trying to find yarn, you're trying to check out while everyone's having conversations. So sometimes it's really organic and sometimes it's really not. Sometimes you can't just have a conversation with someone just because their booth's busy or they're busy. And you obviously, that's just the nature of how these things work if you've been to other festivals. I haven't been to yarn festivals, I've been to other ones. This one in particular, I asked her, I was like, oh my gosh, like how do you do this? Like how is shipping involved? Like how do you get this? Because they were from a distance away. And she basically said that the people that put on the event, the Seattle Convention Center. Basically, you ship your yarn to the convention center and they kind of have a storage unit to like store the yarn or just to store stuff for the event. And I was like, oh, that is brilliant because yeah, I mean, this is a lot to carry around. Anyone that's ever bought a lot of yarn, like, you know, it's not just like, oh, look at that ivy. Like even the yarn's pretty, the label's pretty. Look at that saturated color. I love all these gold embossed details. So pretty. Chamomile. I can zoom in. There we go. It's just a simple design done exceedingly well. I don't know what kind of graphic designer they have. I actually ended up buying the heirloom yarn, so I definitely have that one. This was kind of another little side area. I don't know if this is still Sewrella. Yeah, this looks like this is still Sewrella. It was kind of off to the side, so sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. But this was kind of fun because they also had stuff to like your hands, some lotion, and it's very like done in a very pretty like boutique-y setup. So like I said before, there's a lot of booths where it's just set up very well. This was very beautiful. This is something like I feel like that you would find in just an everyday shop. And so they really did pay attention to detail. Here's another just part of the side of, look at these like really fun kind of jars, like apothecary jars. And I love how I saw a lot of plants. I saw a lot of fake plants. I saw a lot of real plants. I love that they really brought in this homey feel. And mind you guys, it's inside and it did have AC, but we are in a convention space. So, you know, the ceilings are industrialized. You know, you see like the open industrialization of the ceiling. So I love how they really just tried to make it as homey and comfortable as possible. I mean, when I think about my future of my yarn studio, as you know, my studio is still very much in flux. Like, I definitely want to bring in plants, and I definitely want to bring in smells and boutique-like effects, just because it calms me and it's pretty, and why not? It gives me this particular calm vibe so I can do the work that I need to do in this beautiful, peaceful area. And this is just beautiful marketing. I was just really happy to see little details like this all around everyone's booths. This was not just the only unique one for sure. Creativity, fashion, and sheep. Oh my. Sheep. Yes, you heard. Sheep. But let's take this one step at a time. First, creativity. And what's more creative than this next booth? Super Glow. Did you ever play Candyland as a child? This is what I envision Candyland would look like. Those lime greens and toxic hot pink and radioactive orange. Love, pure love. You know what is also love? The love this designer took to match her labellus. I think I said that right. I don't know, but you know what they are. Words cannot describe the amount of love it took to achieve this. Can we just sit in here and that awesome? Whether you love the labellus or loathe them, you have to admit this is pretty ingenious. But what corner of this booth didn't have a bright color explosion, you might ask? And I would say, nay, there was none. Very bright, like look at this pop of color. There is so much going on in this booth, and it was just so beautiful. All this coloring, even the boxes that had stuff had tons of color. Just color explosion. Loved it. Lamb and Kid. It's like they knew orange would be the color of the upcoming month. This booth had all the style and such an easy elegance. Before I go all gaga about the bag, they also have great yarns and patterns. This is Lamb and Kid. So look at this. Look how just like very simple, very beautiful, very bougie. This is just like, could you see someone carrying this bag around, knitting some socks while they're like boating? Cause I can, because I would totally do that. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, if you are a Taylor Swift fan, this orange is hitting the mark right now. And then this is also their beautiful sign, the Lamb and Kid. Once again, these signs are they're just getting me. I also like how they had a picture frame of the cost of certain items. Other people would have frames and then they'd have the costs of what they were, so that was kind of nice. So I liked how they just put it on display. Wild Rose Sheep Farm. We want the sheep, bring us the sheep, and thank God for this booth because they brought the miraculous animal that makes all of our fiber dreams come true. And when I say they bring it, they do all the fiber, whether it's fleece, yarn, roving, they're all here. And their natural wool is just beyond beautiful. Just ask Estella and Endora. This was a Wild Rose Sheep Farm, and yes, there's sheep. It's kind of hard to have conversations because you're just so interested in looking at yarn, and then other people are having conversations. So it's kind of hard to get someone aside and kind of like talk their ear off. But it's just so fun to pass by all these booths and see what's going on. And there's a baby sheep, even though they're not really babies, and there's their names. Estella and Endora. Oh, gorgeous older names if you ask me. Endora sounds like a witch name, and Estella also sounds like a witch name. They're just, it's gorgeous names for sure. Pacific Knit Co. Doodle Cowls. If there was ever a booth that would lure me in like a siren song, it was this booth. This booth was like that toxic ex you keep on going back to because it's just that good. I was sent into decision paralysis with this particular booth because of their doodle card decks. I could not even choose one because I fell in love with a lot of them. But no matter, we have a rivalry and I will be buying them at some point. The booth was always busy. They had lovely ladies, great conversations, and overall such a great experience. I went multiple times. I saw different things multiple times I went. So I loved this booth. It did take up quite a big space, which was well deserved because there's a lot of people there. It was, like I said, always busy, and they just did a really good job bringing the fun. So this right here is was a pretty big area. It's the doodle scarves. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. Isn't that just so beautiful? I, of course, was drawn to this one because I was like, oh yeah, give me the crystal ball and the cauldron and the books and the cat, all of that. I was there. And so these have a theme. Yeah, these are so much fun. Doesn't that just scream like I need to make this for Halloween? I am in love with this. I will probably make this. So if you guys are interested in watching a video of me talking about this, this is definitely one that we'll look into. Once again, I love the ravens, and this candelabra is beautiful. I've designed my own crystal ball. I do really like this crystal ball though. And the ghosts, what I like about the ghosts is they have different expressions. Like this one looks different than this one, and this one looks different than this one. So I love how the ghosts have different expressions. It's a great detailing. This is definitely one that I want to make. I love how the colors are gradient too. Like a lot of thought went into this. Look at the candelabra, how the flame is green, and then there's a purple, and then the candle's green. Like it's just, this was definitely well executed. I think those are bats at the top. I'm not entirely sure. And then of course the raven, which just really pops. So I love all of this. Definitely want to make one of these. And here is the detailing of what it is. Once again, I love seeing tags like these. Sometimes you could find them, sometimes you couldn't. But once again, pattern, yarn, yardage, and then of course the gauge. Beautiful detailing. These, I felt like they were Pokemon cards, guys. Okay, seriously, got to catch them all. And these were, so this was the Fantasy Doodle card deck, and I was having a hard time choosing, so, you know, I didn't choose any because I was being frugal. But there's this one, and then there's the sci-fi. Oh my god, these, like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. Just the space stuff. I'm more in love with the space exploration than the aliens, just cause I don't know, I'd be weird like that. This one was also great, fairy tale. Me, I was more interested in the dragons, of course, cause you know, that's me. I'm not really interested in like the cat, you know, the stuff. Me, dragon head for sure. Once again, the monster doodle, this one was great too. I loved the Medusa head, and I loved the beaker and the flask over here. Skull and crossbones cool. Not interested in all the rest of it, but the eyes are kind of fun too. And then we had the romance doodle, which is kind of fun. I definitely was more interested in the books, the letters, and the diamonds, but look at all that fun stuff. And I think that was it for that one. But I was really interested in the Pacific Knit Co. company, all their doodling. It was a big area. People were very chatty. I had a lovely conversation with someone who worked for one of the yarn companies there, I want to say. So I had a conversation with the gal who worked at the Fangirl Fiber. So she could tell what sweater pattern I was wearing, and I talked about all of my escapades with this sweater. And so yeah, we had a very lovely conversation. So it wasn't just the people that were doing the doodling, it was also all of the Fangirl Fiber that was in the back in the back as well. And she was there. So gear me up. Stickers, hats, jewelry. We want it. We want it all. And boy, did these vendors bring it. I even saw knitting themed coffee mugs. Yes, please. But out of all the stuff, there were the ones that I fell for. Now to say I saw all the booths is not a fair statement. So I am sure I missed a lot of hidden gems. So please understand how much there was to see. First off, the hat of all hats. Ritual Dyes and Degen. Beautiful collaboration that birthed a hat. And this isn't just any hat, it's a royal title. A sticker on my forehead that says, I am a knitter. And yes, I will be wearing this hat in the future. It's amazing how the yarn that they have on the wall is matching the particular hat. It's like uncanny how the colors match. It would just be perfect to buy the hat and then to have the sweater to match. Okay, so this hat, I don't know why I didn't buy it, but I think it's just because I was being very mindful, and I just love it knit. I think I'd rather have pearl on my hat, but anyways, this was a hat that's kind of designed with Degen. They were there too. I just love this hat. It's just such a great little hat. Knit. I wish they had a pearl hat too, but they didn't. It was just the knit hat. So that was kind of fun. Here is a better picture of the entire thing, is the little knit hat. And it's also kind of sad they only had that particular color. I'm not a fan of that russet kind of orange on my head. If it was a different hat, or different colored hat, I probably would have been like, yes, that now. But this particular color is just kind of hard, especially when you have red hair. It does clash a little. I mean, it still would look good, but I think of a navy or a black and then, something different, but it's still such a cool idea. And this is Degen. They also had that hat earlier that I saw right here, this knit hat. This is a sweater, just says knit on it. That looks fun. That could be a future project for sure. Spin cycle. Stickers, knit stickers everywhere. We do love a good sticker sheet. The next question would be, but where to put you? Spin cycle yarns. Man, how many times can I say this wrong? I'm sorry, Spin Cycle. Also, check out Spin Cycle's yarn, Spinster's Daughter, which is a collaboration between them and Farmer's Daughter. This emblem right here is Spendthrift. Look at these, look at this, it's Spin Cycle yarn sticker sheet. Look at this stickered sheet. It's so fun. I'm loving the peach. I'm loving the owl. This is very I don't know why. It's not, some of this is not really like yarn inspired stickers, but I just love it. It was just so pretty, and it's only 12 bucks. It was pretty cool. I didn't get it, but I did enjoy what it was. And of course, there were other little sticker goodies that you could get. Once again, the Spin Cycle yarn. If you're someone that keeps a journal, a knitting journal, or if you keep, or, or hey, even you got a refrigerator, You know, you can turn all of these into magnets, or you can just keep them as stickers to however you want. Or if you got stickers, you just stick everywhere. I personally am of that generation, like, where do I put it? Where do I put it? So I just turn them into magnets and then magnetize them on my refrigerator or other things. Not sure that that's a good idea, but that's just how I roll because I want to keep them forever. This was also in the spin cycle area. I just thought it was hilarious. Spinster's daughter worsted. Now, if you guys don't know, Spin Cycle is out of Bellingham, and I lived in Bellingham for quite a bit in my youth, and so I will always have like this really like sweet spot for Bellingham. It was just kind of a fun, that's such a fun little sign, and so I had to take a picture of it. Bridie Parker. Do you want jewelry inspired by knitting? Well, here it is. This is the place. I love the necklaces, I love the watch bands, and definitely something that is worth looking into, and definitely something I'm going to be purchasing in the future. For sure, for sure. This is kind of hard to see, but this particular company I knew about online because someone had posted it. And basically this right here that I have, it is a Apple Watch band. And she has two that I saw that when I was there. One was like a measuring tape so you can put your garments up and measure it against. And then the other one was, it had particular holes so you could check the needle size. So that's pretty cool, but they had other things than just that. But I love all the accoutrements that she had. She had really great talisman necklaces that you could put things on. So it was really like, it was like wearing the kind of design that I thought was really cool. It was like your notions on you. So that was just a kind of cool idea, is that, you know, when we think of like knitter's tools, we think of them in a pouch or in a bag. And I really like this because you could wear it like on your bracelet, but then you can also wear it around your neck. So I kind of really like this shop, this booth in particular, just because it's just fun. And then this was another thing that they had that was pretty cool. It was called a crafter's first aid kit. And this is kind of what it, like the little stuff that was in it. And then this is a little tin. And it just, that would just been perfect. Here's all the stuff that's in it. Gold heart stitch markers. Just, you know, just a lot of cool fun stuff. You could just easily buy that and then just throw that in a bag or something. So I did love that idea. It's a very smart. Ōshen fibers. What does a marine biologist do as a side quest? I don't know, create an indie yarn dyeing company and open up a yarn shop. Well, this particular marine biologist did, and boy, the ocean theme is strong, and I have never fell so hard for a yarn company. Gorgeous, vibrant colors, and I swear everything I touched there was soft. This right here is just the wall of the most beautiful yarn. I loved these colors. I was kind of obsessed with this company in particular. I came back to look for a particular skein of yarn, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I had hoped that they had worsted weight, and I don't know if I just came a different day or they ran out of it, but I was hoping that they had worsted, and it wasn't on this wall. I think it was more like fingering weight, and they also had a couple of other skeins of different weights, but this was just too beautiful to pass up. Look at those colors. I mean, just beautiful. Maybe you can see more if I went back to here. Oh, these purples and pinks, these teals. Oh, it's just so pretty. Those corals. I loved how bright and pastel-y they were, even though I always joke that I don't really like pastels, but I think pastels I do have a little sweet spot in my heart. I just keep on lying to myself. And then this is a close-up of the company. They are out of Oregon. She said Astoria, Oregon. I have been in Astoria before, I believe. Please do not flame me if I got this wrong. I believe Astoria is the home of where they did the Goonies, because I remember my husband and I had just gotten married and we went on kind of like a little Portland escapade, and we actually did take a picture of us in front of the Goonies house, and I'm not sure if they used Astoria it's been such a long time since I've seen that movie. So that's where they're out of. And I just love that sign. Oh man, such a beautiful sign. Les Garçons. Now this was the highlight of my entire flock trip. This was my lifetime achievement unlocked, if you ask me. There weren't a lot of knitwear designers at this festival, but if there was one, this is Max the Knitter. He is also the designer for Les Petits Garçons, and he has also done, I've made a couple of his pieces before. And so you see this Seattle, Washington? Now this guy is not from Seattle, Washington. And so I was like, why are you in Seattle, Washington, sir? Because see, look, he's from Montreal, Quebec. So he is French Canadian. A lot of his patterns are in French too. When I saw Seattle, Washington, I was like, you know, why are you in Seattle, Washington? Are you in Seattle, Washington during the Flock Fiber Festival? And so it got me excited and I sent a message, are you gonna be at Flock? Didn't get a response back. I didn't expect a response, but I did get one thing better, and that is he was there. Yes, this is his yarn company, Les Garçons. I thought it was Petits Garçons. I don't know what I'm thinking. Maybe just my excitement is overriding my logic mind right now. But yes, just look at that yarn, just beautiful coloring, you know. And then the piece de resistance. I got a picture with him. I was so excited. Yes, you could tell he looks so thrilled. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe that's me reading into it. I seriously was so excited. One designer I really wanted to see. If I was gonna see a designer at Flock, he would have been the one. Mainly because I think a lot of my most recent pieces that I've been knitting have been his designs. The video I did about Schitt's Creek, I did his bolt, and I also did his kind of like rose apothecary sweater. And then I did another video and I did his kind of like two-tone cowl. So a lot of his pieces I feel are very modern and they look so well. And I absolutely love his new stuff too. I'm also going to have to, you know, buy a couple pieces. There is a sweater, kind of like a sweater shirt. I think it's called Whiskey Sour, that I'm looking into making for my husband, just because it's something that you could actually make for a gentleman, and it's not a sweater, and then you could actually have it in his wardrobe. So if you're interested in knitting something for a significant other, or just someone that's really hard to knit for, that might be the piece, just because I feel like it's something that you could easily put in someone's wardrobe. And it's a modern wardrobe piece. I would suggest it if you are interested, for sure. Community and the people. The best part about Flock is the people. Where else would I have seen the most amazing tattoo everywhere? While walking up and down the row of vendors, I spotted the best tattoo ever, in my humble opinion. This lovely knitter had a Rainbow Bright knitting a sweater. Talk about love. I was a huge Rainbow Bright fan, and this was just the perfect combo. Many walks of life, unique clothing styles, unique tattoos, and all I could see was inclusion and love. Bonding over our love of fiber. I saw crochet creations, I saw knitwear creations, I just saw a lot of stuff. Also, it is definitely worth mentioning, it seems like everyone got the memo and were wearing their knitted tops and sweaters, knitted crocheted items as well. It was a hot day for Seattle, but even in this heat, we wore wool, cotton, and silk blends. I thought it'd be fun to see so many knitters wearing shirts and sweaters and scarves. The style of everyone was on display. Additionally, the welcoming of everyone was on display. I had a great time meeting people, chatting, talking to vendors, talking to fellow knitters, and being a part of such a great event. But please realize that this was just day one. I hope to include a video about an interview that I saw on the second day, and so just be prepared for this, because I am still not done talking about Flock, if you can believe it. There's still a lot still to talk about. Please stay tuned. As always, thank you for everything. Thank you for, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and always please like, comment, and subscribe.